Yidit Nefesh can be found on page 332. Yidit Nefesh of Harachaman Eshov Avdecha El Ritzonecha Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Vatigehemu Narachamecha Bechusana Al Ben Alamecha Hizekama Nifzot Nifzarati Lirot V'Tiferet
I want to let you in on a little secret. There's something magical about Shabbat. Heschel said that it is impossible, he said, to be angry on Shabbat. Well, I know from my experience there are times when I have been frustrated and upset. I didn't get dinner on the table early enough, or I burned something, and I get frustrated with my family and everyone around me, and I get angry. And then we get to services, and the music starts, and we light the candles, and we say the prayers, and I guess magically, my frustration and my upset and my anger, they seem to melt away as the Sabbath wanders in, and everything, even just within the confines of the service, is okay again. And I know that it is not absolute, and I know that there are times when very quickly after we finish, I go right back to being angry and upset and an utter mess. But even just for a moment, that ability to pause and let all of those burdens and frustrations and all of the things of life that weigh us down wash away, even just for that moment, well, that's nothing short of magic. And I guess we need a little bit of that magic tonight. We had hoped that this would be our reopening, that those who felt comfortable would fill the seats here, and all of you watching at home would continue to do so, and we would get a little bit of what we know and what we expect and what we hope for from Shabbat and our Jewish community back. Well, the numbers are not what we would like and not what we need to safely do that, and so we, as you may have guessed, at the last minute canceled. We will find a time, we will get to a place where we can gather together again when it is safe and it is healthy, and we can do so without fear of causing harm to one another and to our community. But hopefully in this shifting and changing everything out at the last minute, a little bit of that Shabbat magic will hold for us and hold for all of you. And even though it is not what we wanted, we can get a little bit of that sweetness and that rest and that relaxation, even if it is only for a few moments. I am Rabbi Benjamin Zober of Temple Sinai, and with me, as always, is my partner, my co-rabbi, my wife, my love, Rabbi Sarah Zober. And we are glad that you have joined us, whether you had planned on staying home in your jammies comfortable, or you were planning on getting all dressed up. But we are glad that you are here with us, with all of our twists and turns. We've had a power outage. We've had gates closed. We've had music that I left at home. We've had sermons that we've had to rewrite. So all of the stuff is going on, but we are here now, and you are here. And so we will begin by bringing in Shabbat. I have a little reading that I wanted to share with you. Return us to ourselves. Return us to each other. Return us to the earth. Return us to our land, the land beneath our feet. Return us to this moment. Return us to our knowing, remembering that we know. Return us to our rhythms. Return us to our drums. Return us to ourselves. Return us to each other. Return us to our good questions, our bare feet, our brilliant minds, our singing voices. Return us to falling in love with ourselves and each other. Return us to our shrines and to our shrine keeping. Return us to our places of peacemaking. Return us to trusting each other and ourselves. Turn us and we will dance and be held and behold that we are whole and be in harmony with you. Return us, keep turning us, for everything is within us, and Torah will keep coming out for us, for sweetness is within us and longs to return to you. If you have not already done so, please download our virtual Siddur so you can follow all along. We turn now to page 2 in our prayer books for the lighting of the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, creator of the universe, who sanctifies us with your commandments and commands us to kindle the lights of the Sabbath.
Yes. We continue welcoming Shabbat with some songs and praise. Our first song is Lechuna Ranana, which can be found on page 12 in the prayer book. And we continue on the very next page with Shir Chadash.
sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shirun Adonai, kol haaretz. Shirun Adonai, shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
We continue our welcoming of the Sabbath with the welcoming of the Sabbath bride. We will be singing Lecha Dodi, which can be found on page 20. As is our custom, we will sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And if you are able, when we reach that 9th and final verse, if you would stand and turn to welcome the Sabbath bride into your midst as we bow and say, Boi Kara, Boi Kara.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Adoni likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Yishianu Eham Yuchad, Adonai echad, Shemo echad, V'shemo tiferet v'nitila. Lecha dodi, Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu b'nechad, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, tzokma sheva machshavat tila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitorari, hitorari, ki ba'orecha mihori, uri, uri, shir daveri, v'vod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Go'i v'shalom ha'ateret lalat, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi kara, boi kara. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
You may be seated. We continue together on page 26 with the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach irutei v'yamrich malchutei. B'chayechon u'byom echon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'bizman kariv v'yimaru.
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'olam Lo Me'almaya,
Yitbarach.
Yitbarach, vayishtabach, vayitpar, vitromam, vayitnaseh, vayithadar, vayitare, vayitharal, shemei dekudesha barichu, leila min kol birchata vashirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damihiran be'alma, v'meru, amen. The Baruch Hu can be found on page 28. If you are able, please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai.
We continue together in the English at the top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam can be found on the next page.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahamcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chokim u'mishpatim, otanu limadata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shofenu, u'kamenu nasiach lechukacha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratacha, u'mitzvotacha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orach yameinu, u'bahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Le'avata tasir, imenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael.
The Shema can be found on the next page.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Abad.
You may be seated. We continue together with the V'ahavta, page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shofecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'v'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'hisharecha leman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. We read responsively the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha can be found on the next page.
Micha Mocha, Hayelim Adonai. Micha Mocha, Neno B'Kodesh Norah Tilo Oseh Adonai Kimlo Leolam Adonai Kimlo Leolam Ba'ed Yai Dai Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני קהל ישראל.
We continue together in the English on page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Vishamru can be found on page 44. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritoram. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritoram. Eini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritoram. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritoram. Ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritoram. The Amidah begins on page 46. If you are able, please rise. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh HaKol, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula livnei bneihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechakel chaim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Zohomech noflim berofech oholim, Umatir asurim, Umekahayehem emunato, Ishenei afar, Nichamocha bal gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech memit, Umechahayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ne'eman atal hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue silently to page 62. Please be seated when you are done or when you feel ready. Shalom Rav can be found on page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ve'al kol yoshvei Tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ta'asim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ve'al kol yoshvei Tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ta'asim le'olam. Ki ata u'melech Adon lecho shalom. Ki ata u'melech Adon lecho shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ve'al kol yoshvei Tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ta'asim le'olam. V'tov beinach li'varech et Amcha Yisrael. Bechol lev ubechol sha'at bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ve'al kol yoshvei Tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ta'asim le'olam. Ta'asim le'olam.
We now turn to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah service this evening. We begin at the bottom of page 245. Happy is the one who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding, for its value is greater than silver, its yield than fine gold. It is more precious than rubies, no treasure can match it.
We all rise.
Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Udevar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai Iti, Uneroma Shemo Yachdav. Lecha Adonai Hagedula, V'hagivura, V'hatiferet, V'hanetzach, V'hahod. Ki ho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, Ki ho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Adonai hamamachah, Yamid na'aseh lekol erosh.
So I did prepare Torah, so we're going to do Torah tonight. We are in the middle of Parshat Pinchas, which has a whole bunch of really strange stories all put together. I will be chanting from Numbers 27, verses 1 through 5, which is the plea of the 5 daughters of Tzlofchad, the man who is afraid of his own shadow. And the plea is that they be allowed to keep their father's name going by being given their father's land, even though they were girls. And land is traditionally passed from father to son in the Israelite tradition. And so we begin here with the girls petitioning Moses, coming up to Moses and saying, "You're wrong, and if God agrees with you, God is wrong." So it is time for us to get the justice that we deserve. You can follow along in your virtual Sidurim. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
ותקרבנה בנות צלופחד, בן חפר, בן גלעד, בן מחיר, בן מנשה, למשפחות מנשה בן יוסף, ואלה שמות בנותיו, מחלה נועה, והוגלה ומלכה ותרצה, ותעמודנה לפני משה, ולפני אלעזר הכהן, ולפני הנשים וכל העדה, פתח אוהל מועד לאמור, אבינו מת במדבר, והוא לא היה בתוך העדה הנועדים, על אדוני בעדת קורח, כי בחטאו מת, ובנים לא היו לו. למה יגרש שם אבינו מתוך משפחתו? כי אין לו בן, תן לנו אחוזה בתוך אחי אבינו. ויקרב משה את משפטן לפני אדוני. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
At this time, with the Torah in front of us, we ask for prayers of healing for those who are in need of healing. At this time, we think especially of Richard Abbott, Harav Aharon Ben Tova, Wendy Alderman, Tracy Bartlett, Bluma Bat Rachel V'Aryeh, Stanley Browdy, Neil Calder, Patrick Campbell, Megan Carney Cranmer, Hamida Derry, Jan Dumond, Jeffrey Four, Terry Gregory, Marlene Harris, Harvey Higdon, Harav Katriel Ben Karen, Robin Crow Levine, Dave Levine, Lori Pattison, Judy Ramos, Shirley Rutkovitz, Sarah Batchava, Marianne Schenker, Jessica Wadatz, Yisraela Devira Bat Avraham V'Sarah, and Usher Zalik. If there are other names, please mention them at this time or in the comments. And Sonia Price. For those names that you've put in the comments, those names that remain in our hearts, and everyone who has been affected by this pandemic and the natural disasters that we've witnessed over the last week. We ask for our prayer for healing, and we sing our song of healing, which can be found on page 253. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We all rise to dress the Torah. Vezot HaTorah asher son Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. O pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Vezot HaTorah asher son Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. O pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
Page 257. When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace.
Its highest teaching is love and kindness. What is hateful to you, do not do to any person.
That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization.
Honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace, these are our highest duties. But the study of Torah is equal to them all, because it leads to them all.
Let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do. Page 256.
Etz Chaim hi lemachzikim ba betomcha meushan derachecha Shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chodesh, Chodesh Yameinu Chodesh Yameinu Kekedem.
You may be seated. Tonight, I want to talk about control. There are a lot of things that we cannot control. That we are not all gathered here in person is a perfect illustration of that reality. And with all of the things that are outside of our control, for too many of us, the temptation is to exert our control over things and people that we can, but should not. This sort of activity is a part of our story as Jews. As Rabbi Sarah explained about the daughters of Zelophehad, the daughters appealed to Moses and ultimately to God over the right to inherit. And what seemed like a revolutionary turn of events, they were given the ability to inherit their father's land. And while we often celebrate this story as an early and important feminist text, there is another chapter. Later, their share is diminished and their rights somewhat dimmed as their husbands are given control of the land. Sometimes we can't help ourselves. Sometimes our desire for control hurts other people or takes things from them. In recent days, it seems as though this is playing out in an unfortunate place, the Olympic Games. Perhaps against some of our better judgment, the Games are set to begin in Tokyo in a few weeks. And it might be just what we need. And it would not be the first time that the Games have offered inspiration and hope. Not the first time that it is more than just an athletic pursuit. When Jesse Owens took home 4 gold medals in front of Hitler, who had planned to put on a display of the mastery of the Aryan nation, that was a triumph. When Kathy Freeman, an Indigenous Australian runner, ran to gold in her native Sydney, it was a victory for the rights and status of Native individuals. When Yusra Mardini swam in an Olympic swimming pool, it was a world apart from the open water that she swam in, dragging a sinking ship as she and others tried to escape from the horrors in Syria. These athletes and others made a bid for freedom. Their performances inspiring, challenging, and daring to reject the control of persecution, of bigotry, and colonialism. Not all athletes get that chance. Jewish athletes were denied the right to participate in the Games in Germany. And even today, we see that control still being employed against athletes and people. Caster Semenya of South Africa, Christine Maboma and Beatrice Maslingi of Namibia this year are ineligible to run because they have levels of testosterone deemed too high for women. Hearing about this, the world's greatest gymnast and Olympian Simone Biles tweeted out about the wrongness of the decision and lamented and recognized it for what it was. It was all about control. Control of women, control of Black bodies. Coding bodies like this, coding people this way, has long been a project of white supremacy. Instead of power being used to determine who is the fastest or the best, the greatest athletes in the world, it has been used to decide who plays and who does not. Like the daughters of Tzlofchad, these women were unable to enjoy the benefits of their work, all that they were entitled to, because someone felt the need to control them, because power that they should have been able to wield themselves was guarded and used against them. This is not our narrative as Jews. This is not our value. Our story is one of a march to freedom, an endurance event that spanned millennia, a goal we still seek today. But in order to get that freedom, we have to help people throw off the shackles of control and give them agency over their lives. Rabbi Danya Ruttenberg, reflecting on the daughters of Tzlofchad, reminds us that the five at the beginning are subversive. They break rules. They sneak around, lie, get stuff done in an oppressive system without room for them. We need to stand with the rule breakers, with the subversives, until the power is no longer used against them. We need to use our power to safeguard theirs. And we need to start with a truth that Moses recognizes, even if he eventually forgets, that their cause is just. It is just to want to be able to inherit from our parents, to honor their wishes and carry on their legacies. And it is just to want to be free, free to live as we want, free to compete, free to be who we are everywhere. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Aleinu, which can be found at the bottom of page 282. If you are able, please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורר עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. Please be seated. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. At this time, we remember Jim Ballantyne, Florence Conti, Sanford Arnold Eisenstadt, Joe Johns, Sherwin Sider, Arthur Ashkin, Jack Robinson, Betty Williams, Pamela Walker, Barb McBrady, Mary Jane Ludwig, Inga Kaplan, Elizabeth Ruth Rassler, James Cross, Peter A. Alsberg, Ph.D., Eileen Jenkins, Selma Four, Steve Strauss, Andrew Verratti, Donna Matlis, Charlie Perlman, Rabbi Michael Cook, Sharon Perlman, Mildred Millie Small, Alan Dabrow, William Leibovic. And this Shabbat we commemorate the yartzites of Herman S. Brown, Phoebe Reusch, Mary Birnbach, Sherman Bruckner, Molly Friedman, Harry Matlis, Bernard S. Borres, Mary Eisenman, Niles Allen Flansreich, Nan M. Goldwater, Bess Kaplan, David Loeb, David Stein, Louis Medvin, Link Johnson, and Robert Zober. We add to those the names that you have shared in the comments or hold in your heart. Zichronam livracha. May their memory be for a blessing. Kaddish Yatom can be found on page 294. If it is your custom, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divrach v'rutei v'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam ulmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yithalal shmei d'kudesha berichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Ta'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and all who mourn, to which we say, Amen. We have a few announcements for you this evening. Tomorrow morning, we will be doing our virtual Torah study at 10 a.m. We are all the way up to Genesis 24:50. Please join us for that if you are able. It is absolutely wonderful way to explore the text in your pajamas or whatever you feel comfortable in. There is no prior experience necessary, so don't be deterred if you have never studied Torah with us or anyone else before. We would love to have you, so please, if you are able, come and join us for that. Let's see, what do we have coming up? So we do not have our Yism'Zoom this evening. We were hoping that and thinking that we would be working out the kinks of our first in-person service and wanted to put that on hold, but it is not going away. We will be bringing that back as soon as possibly as soon as next week. So if you have enjoyed chatting with everybody after our service, fear not, that will come back. And if you have not participated in that, stay tuned because you will have an opportunity in the near future. In observance of the July 4th holiday, our Temple Sinai office will be closed on Monday. So if you have something you need to bug Mike about, it'll just have to wait until Tuesday, because he certainly needs a day off, as we all do. If you are celebrating the holiday, please, please, please do so responsibly and safely. So not only are we going to put our usual caveats and warnings about things like fireworks, not only for the sake of your fingers, but because of wildfires here in northern Nevada and anywhere that there is a drought and excessive heat, but also because of COVID. So if you are out and about, please wear a mask, maintain distancing when possible, and just be smart and safe. And hopefully we will then all have a holiday without incident. Next week on July 9th, we have an in-person Tot Shabbat. Yes, if all things work, that will be at Las Brisas, starting at 4 for people who want to hang out and socialize. And then at 7:30, we will have our regular Kabbalat Shabbat service. A few other things coming up in the near future. On Sunday the 11th, we have 2 events, both really important. The first is here at 9. I guess if we're able to do that, we are planning to pull weeds. We have a few weeds on our grounds, and we would like to keep our synagogue looking great. So if you are able, please come to that. For information on that, or to volunteer, president@sinai-reno.org will let Michael Gorden know that you are coming, so he'll know how many shovels, I guess, things like that. The other thing that we have going on that same day is at 10 a.m., we have Chevra Kadisha training at Walton's Funeral Home. If you're not familiar with this or have not done it, the Chevra Kadisha is our burial society. It is considered one of the greatest mitzvot that you can do, because you can't really be paid back for helping prepare someone for burial. It is a volunteer position. Usually we need a group of people that come and go through the traditions and the rituals that we do when we prepare someone for burial. This is designed to get everyone up to speed with it. There is no commitment. So if you check it out and say, this is not quite my thing, there are no hard feelings. Or if you say, I can do it here and there, if you really need someone, that is absolutely excellent. So we hope that you will consider coming to do that. That's sinai-reno.org/Chevra Kadisha, or email Rabbi Sarah, or check out, there's information on the website and in emails and things going around if you can't figure out how to spell Chevra Kadisha in the English and not the Hebrew. The other thing, we've got couple real quick coming up. We have a board meeting on Wednesday, July 14th. There's all sorts of things to go with that. And the one other thing I will mention is that we have Pride coming up here in Northern Nevada. We do 2 months of Pride, which is really excellent. And our Pride Festival is on the 24th, I believe. We have, as a congregation, have a long history of participating and supporting this fantastic event. Not only will we be marching in the parade, but we have a booth. And so we hope that you will join us, whether it is to volunteer or march with us, or just to come and say hello and see all of the wonderful things going on and lend your support. So please, please, please do that if you are able. It is a fantastic event, and we hope to see you there. All right, that's all I got. Actually, no. I do have one other thing that I want to say. We need more good things and wonderful things, and I want to offer a wonderful and hearty Mazal Tov to Mark Rosenberg, who has just retired after a long and interesting career. It has taken him all over the place, including to Alaska, where he was part of the Frozen Chosen, and now he gets to spend his time being on a bike and being a husband and a father and a grandfather, all roles that he is wonderful at. And so we extend him a truly hearty Mazel Tov and best wishes. And
please be safe on your bike, Mark.
yes, all sorts of excitement for him in the coming years as he embarks on this new adventure. And something else. All right.
I think we're good.
So, okay.
We're good.
All right.
Also, thank you so much, everyone, for your flexibility and for your ability to turn on a dime. We know that we're all disappointed that we don't have a nice full room here tonight. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to your email, and we will hopefully get control of this Delta variant and be able to get back together in person soon. We're going to close our service on page 323 with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharetz, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lechem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bafuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Shabbat Shalom.